Gaming Today presents Hash Considerations.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Which is usually a big day.
Yeah.
For a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of places. And we are in unprecedented times. So we're going to do a show today. It's going to be probably an abbreviated show, but we appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate you guys, texting us with ideas, things to talk about. We're at a bit of a loss, as we all are. Obviously, there's so many bigger things going on, but we definitely wanted to do a show today and hopefully give you some sort of something to do while you're at home on lockdown or quarantine wherever you're at.
Locked in.
So without further ado, that voice you hear in the background, in studio with us today is Mo Toy Pearson. What's up, Mo?
Hey, man. Still doing pretty good so far, but, it's sad times, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
it
is.
For the most part, but
I've
still been keeping my spirits high. I've been reading about sports that might not ever play again, so see how that goes.
Social distancing, we're in the same room. We're still the same distance away, a little bit different than the bunker, but, we were a little tight over in the bunker, but we're back in studio today. Behind all the equipment is Reynolds. I am Reynolds2305 on Twitter. What's up, man? He's ready to go, making sure the levels are good and the show gets to you guys. Briefly, I'll mention Alan was here at %Berg.
Yeah.
Just got a call. Everything's, okay. He just had to run out. He's not going to be here to do the show with us today, but he is here in spirit and,
Wait, he didn't die?
No.
My God.
But he got up and had to go.
Yeah.
So he's got some things to take care of today.
They're important. So, it makes sense. Yeah.
He's gone, but we'll discuss. We had a little bit of a show rundown briefly before he left, so hopefully you and I can
pick up the slack for the most part
and touch on what we were going to touch on with Alan as well.
Yeah.
I am Big Dave Sherapan. Mo's Twitter handle, by the way, is @HeedTheseTakes. I am @SportsBKConsig for Sportsbook Consigliere on Twitter. Hopefully Howard's going to join us if he, gets in here. A lot of things he's got going on as well, but he's at Gaming Today News. And the show is at GT Cash Consider on Twitter. We're just going to do it. Obviously, the first thing we got to talk about is the impact of this whole thing. I mean, we're going to get into the impact on everyone's lives and what it's going on and what you're going through and things like that. But in our world, in the sports book, we did a show last week and we looked at every college basketball conference tournament.
Yeah.
That was relevant. And I had a very bad doing it in alphabetical order, it didn't quite work out.
Still good.
And I got called out for it. But we started out with the A's and we got to some S's and then we went back and we got back in order. But anyhow, no college basketball. And it's March.
Devastating.
What does it feel like to you? There's a huge gaping hole in the sports world and in the sports books right now that's never, that's canceled.
Yeah.
That's out. That's never coming back. What did it feel like for you? It felt terrible taking all that stuff down. I know for me, I was there on Wednesday, and we're like, take it all down.
No, it was, I think the first conference that kind of went down was the Ivy League, which at that time it was funny. Like, this was a joke. Not a joke, but, the Ivy League goes down, Yale, advances, which, it was a conference that never really had tournaments until like 2 years ago. So we're like, all right, whatever. And then I think it was, I think it was the next day, or no, it was that same night. And then I knew it was real, like, I think the Pac-12 tournament went down, and I was like, God damn, like, that's a bigger one, especially here in the venue in Vegas. So, I think that's when and I wasn't even at work at the time. I was just like, this is going to be a problem, especially going forward, within the next day or so. But yeah, getting in the next day, I think the MAC tournament started early. Akron was going to play Ohio. And then the Big East started. I think St. John's
they
was
played
playing.
the first half of that game.
Right.
Eerie, weird.
And it was prior to that. Like I remember, like games were getting pushed back, and I was like, man, it's kind of weird. Like a lot of those games started at 9. They were going to start at 10:30, and we're like, man, it doesn't look good. I remember I went to go get Subway, and I was going to come back before the 9s went off, and I just see it on my phone, like all these tournaments are like they're done.
Right.
8-10 is done. And then that's when it kind of sat out. It was just like complete sadness. And, what was once like something to laugh at became like, this could be our livelihoods at stake. And, not just that, but, regularly just the world's in shock. Sports like that go down.
I know for me, my moment came Wednesday night when they came running out onto the court at the Thunder game and said, everyone's going. That's it.
Yeah.
Game's canceled. And we were like, okay, what exactly is going on now? Like, they don't just come running out and say, all right, everybody got to go. And they made that announcement in the public address announcer at the arena. Everything's fine, but everybody got to go home. Like, you ain't got to go home. You got to get the hell up out of here. I mean, that's an old saying, but that was said, and it was like, okay, what does this mean? So I saw it that night and then thought, there's no way they're going to play the college basketball tournament now if the NBA took that action. So then it comes out, obviously, that Rudy Gobert tested positive, and the NBA had guys in that arena, obviously Mitchell as well, that tested positive. So now, like, I give the NBA a ton of credit for immediately making a decision, getting out in front of it and saying, that's it. We're canceling the games. We're not playing. And then everybody quickly followed suit.
Yeah, which, I mean, they almost had to at that point. Yeah.
And I know this. We were just talking to Alan before he left. The UFC's decision to keep the event without spectators was, I don't know, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, but I know it gave me a sense of normalcy for that day. On Saturday, it felt like there was still something going on.
Yeah, people were betting it.
And people were betting it.
Yeah, I think that was what, for the most part, that's what we were more happy about, to see the ticker fill back up.
It was rolling.
So, that in itself, it was like, you could tell, like, people on social media were like, wow, like this, it's, dull times, but it's fun to see, actual sports being played, even it being a sport with no spectators or anything like that. It was competitive. It was fun.
And people were probably betting it just because they could.
Yeah, without
and they
question.
couldn't bet anything else. There were people already in town that had come that were here. They're going to be here for the, conference tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
So I know, handle was up. Action was great.
Yeah.
The fights were, decent. I mean, there was a lot of decisions. There was a lot of, competitive fights, I thought.
A lot of steam going down.
It
was.
Oh
My God.
So, but it was good. And then Sunday came, and there were 3 Mexican Soccer League games.
Yeah.
And not much else.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I was off, man. I was trying to check.
Working.
I was checking the board, just to see, and like at Circa, like, we're just trying to get so much stuff up at this point. But just, it's either off-board stuff, or like people don't even have their Russian, Premier League on their DBs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like people aren't even seeing this stuff for the most part. But they better get acquainted with it soon. For us, it's just been tough. We're trying to, kind of get through it through the rough times, but it's insane at this point.
It is, and it's really hard. And then it came like, should casinos close? Should you, have poker games? Should you sit at machines next to someone? Like, this is all such a fluid situation, and we're talking about this again on Tuesday, March 17th. I don't know when you guys listen to the show, and obviously things are going to change, but if you're not catching this until Thursday or Friday, it may be different.
Yeah, totally.
But, some places in town are making the decision to close, and again, it's probably the right decision. Other places are not. They're going to stay open and give people somewhere to go, but
I don't think any casinos on the Boulder Highway Strip even have a clue what's happening, like, in the world. Like, they're still running their businesses,
just doing their thing.
Yeah, I think like Sam's Town and Boulder Station, like they're just still running. Like, there's nothing going. They're still going, man. Like, they're in another world right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it just again, it's changing so fast that, and again, I use that word unprecedented. Nobody knows what to do. There's no playbook for this.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. I mean, have you? I've never seen anything like this.
No, there's nothing I can absolutely compare this to that I've gone through in my 35 years on this planet. And I was asking a buddy of mine, because the only thing that, to me, to equate and watch the reaction to was like when the AIDS epidemic was hitting in the 80s, but I was too young to go through that. So I asked a buddy of mine, I said, how similar is this? He goes, he thinks the reaction to this is worse.
Oh, my God.
Because of how easily spread this thing is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And the way people are reacting to it, whereas with AIDS in the 80s, it was kind of more known. I don't want to say quickly, because, again, I didn't go through it, but this is what he was telling me. Saying, like, okay, knew it's spread through sex and using drugs intravenously and whatnot. But this whole thing, the way people reacted to it, it really is. There's nothing comparable to it that I can see in my life.
Yeah. But
to your point, Mo, on places staying open and stuff like that, I mean, you got to stem, you got to try and stop the spread as best you can. But also, like, people need jobs, man.
Yeah.
People, and we kind of know, the whole social distancing you hear, stay 6 feet away. Like, there really is no, I don't want to say, I'm sorry, like, the word panic to me, it kills me to watch the reaction, the way people are acting in grocery stores right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's like just this full on, like, oh my God, we have to wash our hands every 20 seconds. Like, just practice good hygiene and, keep a safe distance, and the thing will pass. The overreaction is kind of what's gotten me on everything.
Right. Well, and that's what, like, people are trying to measure, is closing a casino an overreaction. We don't know.
Yeah.
Is limiting, restaurants to takeout only an overreaction. I think in a situation like this, an overreaction will be measured in 3 months when the spread or the curve is flattened or there's just less cases. But we don't know. So all we know is what we've seen and heard from other countries. And I think if you don't do enough and then you have a real problem, everyone's going to remember that, obviously.
Well, that's the argument against what the UFC's been doing.
Yeah.
Or they tried so hard to keep that London event going.
Right.
Right, which is a nothing garbage fight card. But they tried so hard, like, no, we're going to continue to do that. We're going to push through and keep our event schedule going. And this is something I talked about a while back, saying that the PR risk that they're taking is not worth it.
Right.
Because that fight card wasn't going to bring in big money.
Yeah.
All the work that you were trying to do to move it, it wasn't going to be cost efficient. And if somebody tests positive, like the NBA, Rudy Gobert tested positive, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Right? If that happened in the UFC,
They're done.
Like, because
they'll get crushed for it.
Yeah, because after the Rudy Gobert thing happened, and like you're bringing people from all over the world, right? Fight cards are international. You got guys from Africa, you got guys from Asia, all that stuff. You're running a bigger risk, and the reward is just not there.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Did you watch the UFC Saturday?
I watched I booked like the first 4 or 5 of the, fights. Yeah, I didn't see the main though.
You watched it?
No, I just followed along on Twitter.
Okay.
It was all on ESPN, which was pretty cool.
It was.
And it was great.
It's so different watching it without fans.
For anybody that's watched MMA, like as a hardcore, that was very similar to watching like a Dana White's Contender Series or The Ultimate Fighter, where they've had fights in essentially empty gyms before.
Okay.
The only difference was the higher magnitude of the card.
Okay.
Right? Because this is like normally it's a fight night. Normally it would be in front of fans, but we've seen this before. It's for people that have followed MMA for years. This isn't completely out of the realm of normal. But I mean, it is an interesting experience because you could hear so much more.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was just weird for me because there was no fans, or I was just more happier that there was something that was like, I wouldn't like it. Like it was an actual sport being on, so I didn't even really notice if there were fans or not. I was like, they're fighting. This is cool. This is happening. We're doing this.
If you watch it with audio, that's where you notice the big difference. And
yeah,
that's where my next question was going to go to. Like, for us in the book business, in the sports business, I mean, people that report on stuff, there's a lot of like situations right now that are pretty perilous. Like, you don't know what your future is right now, and decisions are being made to furlough people, lay people off, whatever. There's a lot of things going on. But the next thing that's going to come from all this is sports without fans. Someone's going to play games without anyone there. That's got to be the first step.
I think people
next.
are like okay with that at this moment.
I think so.
Yeah.
As a viewer, I know myself, put the games on. Like, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I don't need do you think, one, are you good with that? And two, how does that affect the players? Like, as far as the fighters, I don't know if it affected them or not. There was just a lot of decisions. There weren't a lot of knockouts. I don't know if you have that same emotion.
Well, no,
You know.
obviously the energy is going to be different.
Different.
A lot of
Way
guys,
different.
a lot of guys feed off that, but it becomes more almost like a sparring session at that
Right.
point in time.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
That's
like you're saying.
exactly.
And some guys that can help, some guys that won't. There's some guys that are training warriors,
Yeah.
and maybe this environment takes the pressure off them mentally or whatnot.
Most definitely.
You know,
That's a great point.
Yeah, it's a good mix. You know, I think with because there was 9 straight decisions, if I remember right, to open the card, which
Yeah.
tied the record for most consecutive decisions. The most ever on a card, by the way, is 10. There was like 6 cards that have that. But I mean, I think that was more due to a level of uncertainty. Training environments were affected. So I don't necessarily know that like I said, to me, that the lack of fans in that environment, it's probably like, probably a 50-50 mix of who it
Right.
affected and who it didn't.
Yeah, I just energy-wise, like, well, I didn't know. Like, we were asking questions, like, when fans get up, like, after, like, a great flurry of punches, like, that could, put fighters into, like, the kill mode. Like, when people are cheering,
Right.
that's what we were asking. I don't know anything about that per se, but, I mean, like, for a card to go to decision like that, like, some people feed off the crowd, when they get, someone in a bad position or, when someone's kind of, a little bit messed up, they go after that. In
Right.
basketball, there's momentum swings.
Yes.
It's huge. Like,
Yes.
so you can tell, especially at home, which is, known for anyone that watches sports, like, it's a bigger deal. But some people like to play away. Some people like the quiet crowds. Like,
Right.
like there's like a lot of different things where fans come into play. I mean, Texas A&M's got the 12th man. Like, it matters.
Right.
It's the Seahawks got their deal, and some of the stadiums were created for noise. So with no
Yeah,
noise,
right.
it's
and
a
there's
big deal.
other stadiums that are artificially pumping in noise.
Yeah, it's
and
all over the
things like
place.
that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be interesting because someone asked me this: if like the NBA plays without fans, how will that affect the lines?
The French Open just got
And-
postponed as well to
Okay.
September 20th to October 4th.
All right,
What I'm seeing,
they're moving
man.
stuff back.
Yeah.
Everything's moving back.
Yeah, well, the
Everything's
Kentucky
moving
Derby
back.
got moved to what,
Kentucky
September or
Derby
something
got
like
moved
that?
Yeah,
to
September
September.
5th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what would affect the lines? Like, when it comes back, I think it will.
It has
like
to.
it has to. There won't be that whatever home court advantage, home ice advantage, all that stuff. It will get affected.
Yeah. Without
Um,
question. A lot of the
and-
guys that are injured now, too, they'll come back a little bit more healthy.
All that stuff's going to change. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, teams are going to look different than they did, when this stopped
Yeah.
the last week. If they come back in June, I don't know. Do you think there's a favorite as to which league is going to come back first?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Well, where are you doing? Are you doing the Major 4?
Yeah.
Like,
the
is baseball
professional.
going to play first? Is basketball going to play first? Is hockey going to play first?
You would think MLB,
I think-
right? Open.
I don't know. I think that they're bigger crowds. Like that, I mean, they could play in front of empty stadiums too. That wouldn't be. They've done it, before.
I think
occasionally.
when people start talking about coming back, this thing will be kind of contained at that point in time.
Yeah.
So I think the empty crowd thing won't be as relevant.
Okay.
Though I think there'll be a lot of questions over, people being, is it safe to go back and whatnot? You'll have a lot of those. But I would say, to me, I think everybody's going to follow the lead on the NBA. I think NBA has kind of been the standard setter here.
And they've
I
done a
agree.
great job for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they kind of had to. They were in a position where they had to not play anymore. But I don't know. I figured they were the first ones to go. I'm assuming they have a better plan on when they're going to come back or not.
Yeah.
And plus, they were talking about having no fans before anyone.
Right.
This is before Gobert went down.
Yeah.
So that was obviously they had, kind of like the headset of like, hey, this is a big deal.
Right.
And then it just kind of, it was like a wave of everyone else kind of following because there was no other way around it.
That's a great point, though, too, because, like, LeBron initially, when they brought up the empty
Yeah.
the empty arenas. He's like, nah,
I
never,
can't. I'm not
never.
playing,
And then
yeah.
like it was like 3 or 4 days
Yeah,
later.
he was like,
He's like, nah, I see value in that.
I could be talked into it. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, okay, man.
It shows kind of how quickly the perception changed on this thing.
Oh, most
Oh
definitely.
yeah, no,
big deal.
and it's changing still.
Yeah.
like that's the hard thing. So like it's all speculation, and we want to have a conversation, and we're not holding anybody to anything. But I agree with you, Reynolds. Like I think the NBA will probably be first to kind of jump back in with all of this, and then the others will hopefully quickly follow suit. I know this. I mean, I've realized what I like to watch on television, and it's sports.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to watch pretty much anything else on. And it's hard, like, every day when I go home at night or, I've, like, now, I mean, and I'll get to this to take a minute, but I'm going to have the kids all day. School, there's no school until, the second week of April now.
Yeah.
That's a long time. There's a lot of downtime.
I mean, and that's
You put
all
on the TV,
speculation
I'm
too.
like,
Like
what
they,
the hell?
I mean, they're just kind of pushing it. They don't know, like for sure, right? That's just a speculation
Well,
of when they're going
that's
to come
the
back.
first date. Yeah, that
Right.
they just pushed it back to. But there's a void of like not watching sports. Like, and I mean, I've already done it. I'm doing it less now, but like, open the Scores app.
Yeah.
See, I've
I've done
I
it.
did it a couple times. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no games.
No,
Stop doing.
I just do it out of like habit. Just postpone. I'm like, man, it's not coming back. It's never coming back. We're doomed.
Well, it's not on the teams to never lose again.
Right.
It is coming back.
Teams
It
that'll never
will
play
come back.
again.
Yeah,
all
but,
of them. Every single team. Yeah.
Will it look different? Are we, I mean, air travel changed after, 9/11. Certain things changed after big events and stuff like that. Will sports look different after this, do you think?
I can't imagine it will. Like once it gets like contained, like we were just talking about, like when people know it's safe to go back, I can't imagine them changing. Like, because like when is this going to happen again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they have to take certain precautions, but once there is like a vaccine or we know like that it can be contained within like large quantities of people, then I can't imagine it changing sports, like the face of sports. I think it's just more a bigger deal that they had to take it down. So
Right.
I don't think anything's going to change from it per se.
No, I think you'll see changes, not necessarily to the sports themselves, but obviously to the
Experience.
in arena experience. I think you're going to see a lot more hand sanitizer stations.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of again, I don't like to use the word because it sounds like it's diminishing, but like overreaction to hygiene practices. Like I think if you've been washing your hands well, you sneeze into your hands, you go wash your hands, you've been doing all that normal stuff for the last like 30 years or
Forever.
so.
I don't think.
Yeah,
no,
you'll be fine. But people are acting now like oh my God, now we have to wash our hands. Like you should have been doing this before.
I honestly think when it's done, people are going to stop caring again.
Well, that was the point I was going to go to make, is like I think you're going to see that, and then generally after almost any inciting incident, there's like the initial like overcorrection for a few months, and then things kind of track back to normal.
Bingo.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's
it's like being in a
exactly-
relationship where you guys have a fight,
Yeah.
right? And then for 2 weeks, you guys are like, yeah, you work on it, and then you fix the stuff, and then you fall right back.
Yeah,
into
right
your
back. Yeah,
patterns.
there it is. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's exactly. Yeah, that's it. But the hand sanitizer deal at all arenas or play, that's for sure. I like that.
I'm a big fan of that.
That's gonna happen. I believe that. Like
Yeah.
more stations where you can like wash. I don't know, restrooms per se, but yeah, the sanitizer deal. I think that's gonna be a big deal.
And there's a lot of like old stadiums where the men's room's a big trough.
Oh my god!
I mean,
yeah,
there's a
no-
lot of things that, like when you think about, you're like, man, I know I've gone in places and whatever, and like
I
I
actually-
just
like-
think about vendors walking up and
Yeah.
down aisles.
I like the
and
term
all this
trough.
stuff. Yeah,
I think the trough, I like that better than the urinal. to be
Trough
honest
is
with you.
great.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there's no social distancing in the trough.
Oh, no,
You're
it's
in a
just- yeah,
stadium.
it's
Well,
you
yeah, I
and
guess,
someone
it's
else,
like
yeah.
that jam packed.
Proximity, it's close. Yeah,
Right. But
the trough is tough.
A
Yeah.
lot of sword playing in a trough.
so I don't know, man. I just know. I mean, like I think of big events like the Kentucky Derby, 120,000 people in a place. That's been pushed back. Obviously, everything's pushed back.
Patrick said if the Derby got postponed
Yeah.
or moved back, then the world is for sure doomed.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're closing
That
in.
thing's been running 108 years or something.
Yeah, they were running
on
through
the
whatever.
first Sunday in May.
You guys know better than HBO would actually probably know better than anybody, but like they've never had to postpone the Derby ever.
I think, yeah. I don't think that's why Patrick was telling my buddy Patrick was saying like, tell me when the Derby gets pushed back, and I'll know when we're done.
Right.
So he thinks it's coming. Yeah, the sun's gonna explode.
No. Let's hope not. But
I'm gonna tweet
man.
Neil deGrasse Tyson on that.
Oh yeah,
Just make
it'll
sure.
be me versus Tyson. Yeah.
How are we doing on the sun, Neil?
Oh man, Sun is.
He does. You know what he'll ask me? He'll be like, the Connecticut Sun.
Oh my, yeah, of course.
What's the number Mo got?
I don't.
Yeah,
He's,
right.
we'll figure it out when
God.
it's done. When this virus is done.
Well, that's the coronavirus discussion, and I'm sure we'll weave it back in here and there between.
Hold on, I want to
end
ask
of the
the
show.
one thing, not to jump on you.
No,
too
go
early
ahead.
there, but back to the Gobert thing because of how careless he was, and then getting Mitchell. He's got to get traded, right? Like, there's no way that guy can walk back in that locker room and be accepted, right? I mean, I get furious if somebody gave me pink eye.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man. Hope Lindy's not listening to this. Damn it.
Gave you pink eye.
Allegedly, he thinks I gave him pink eye on that
Oh.
that spring training trip.
Oh,
Last
okay.
year.
Last year.
I didn't do
Yeah.
a damn thing, so it wasn't a good deal. But maybe the organization's more mad than the players. I guess the players are mad. I feel like the top guys would be like, "Hey, what are you touching those mics for? Like, are you serious?"
Well, I think Mitchell put like a good PR spin on it, and he's not. But I got to think like privately, you got to be furious.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, nobody.
You guys wouldn't react that way.
I don't know.
When people, I mean, at work, like,
Yeah.
like when people would cough or sneeze, would you joke and be like, "Man, you got to get away from me"? Like just generally, like there'd be
but
times at work, someone would
Yeah.
cough and would be like, "Hey, you,
Yeah.
what's happening?"
Right. Yeah. No, we did that all the time. We're in close quarters.
Right,
We're
exactly,
One
yeah,
room.
right.
Like our risk rooms
Like-
are one room.
Like if Reynolds
Like, it's-
sneezed, I'd be like, "My man, like you got to take that deep, like
Yeah.
far."
Are you saying before all this or just during?
No,
this?
during.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean,
Well, no, even before.
Oh,
Like, no. We
See
were
that
doing it
I'm cool with.
Right. No, we were doing it in the fall, because, I mean, I'm very aware of like flu season in general
Yeah.
every year and what it entails and stuff. And we're working in close environments. And I'm always been and especially with kids now.
yeah,
I mean, they're around other kids that I know aren't doing their due diligence.
yeah, none.
So, you feel like you're on the constant battle. And then we're in rooms that are tight.
You guys have
We're in
windows?
No.
Yeah, no windows. Yeah, zero windows.
No
Yeah.
windows, and it's close quarters. So, yeah, I mean, just, take the precautions necessary. Be a person, just be somewhat respectful of the person next to you, around you, in the grocery store. I mean, people are getting savage.
Yeah.
Over shit.
Yeah.
Over dumb shit.
It's getting filthy.
That's something that kind of killing me with the grocery store thing is just like, okay, I'm super, super worried about the virus. I'm super, super worried. So I'm going to buy all this hand sanitizer and toilet paper that I don't need,
Yeah.
ensuring that people that do need it don't get that.
Right.
And then they are susceptible to the virus. And now you've caused it to spread more. Like,
Yeah.
how about some logic
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, zero
logic
logic.
gets thrown out the window when there's panic.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
really been the case. So, I don't know. I don't know where it's all going, but just be safe out there and be respectful of each other and take care of yourselves
Yeah.
first and your family and everyone around you. And hopefully this thing will get kicked. And, before you know it, we'll be talking about it'll be 112 degrees here and like nothing will be surviving.
Yeah,
any
no,
damn
it's
virus. It's hard enough
Water
to
will
just
be
drink
scarce.
water, right?
Yeah,
I
water
mean,
will be
like-
scarce.
Oh my God. All right, let's talk some sports before we get out of here.
Okay.
Brady announced today he ain't coming back.
How about it,
How about
man?
it?
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Do you still think the Colts are in play?
Man, it just seems like Phillip Rivers is he's the for sure suitor. Is that real? Like, I don't know anything about that.
I don't know if anybody can right now say Brady's still available. So is Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
Pick Rivers.
yeah.
Who in the hell would do that?
I don't understand. Like, I keep seeing it, but I don't see sources. Like, people are just saying it. Like, I don't. What does that even mean? Tom Brady, I guess, to the Chargers is still live. Like, that's becoming a bigger deal.
That is live.
Which I think we laughed at. I laughed at that.
Yeah, it's still live, and I mean, Joe Namath ended up in the Chargers, like going way back. Like
Yeah.
the Chargers had been a place. Didn't Johnny Unitas, I think, as well? I mean, I don't know.
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. They ended up at the Chargers.
Unitas played for the Chargers?
At the end.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
God.
Or maybe at the beginning. Maybe he was a Charger at one point. But anyhow, I was joking and said, someone asked me, "Can you see Brady going to Florida?" And I'm like, well, that's what old people from New England and New York do. They go retire to Florida.
Yeah, or Arizona. It's one or the other, right? Yeah, one or the other.
The Midwest more come to Arizona, and the East Coast goes to Florida.
Bingo.
And Brady to Tampa, football-wise, AB was making a case that it's, not a bad move.
What did he say any other spots besides Tampa?
No,
AB?
well, no, he said Tampa's not a favorite.
Yeah, they are.
So,
I've seen that. Yeah.
So betting-wise, numbers-wise, Tampa is the favorite. As of Tuesday, again, when you listen to this show, maybe he's already signed, but he's not coming back to New England.
Yeah.
Is what he just said. So, and because he said it on social media, I guess it's true.
I want to see him with the Colts. That's how I feel. I don't know.
That makes them very, I think, they're dangerous as it is.
Yeah, Texans lost Hopkins, and they just kind of got some stuff going on
next.
there.
Like,
yeah.
Did you see that trade? Like, what the fuck are the Texans doing? They trade D-Hop for
David Johnson.
David Johnson?
My God. Yeah, it's.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel bad for Watson. I like that takes away his best weapon.
There's never been a time where I thought Hopkins was a detriment to he's never said anything bad about the organization or anything like that. Like a move like that would only concern me because he has, there's stuff that he doesn't agree with, inside of it. Like they would just ship him for someone like that. But yeah, it's I don't understand the logic of bringing him in. I'm thinking that they shipped him out for something that we don't know about. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Again, it's one of those things where I just go, there's no fucking loyalty. There's no
understand.
loyalty at all.
I don't
all
get
one
it.
way, and you just go,
even
gone.
you could do all the right things and still get crushed for it,
So,
whatever that may be. But yeah,
it's really, really hard, and just like anything else, sports are, it's cutthroat. It's business. We take it more serious as far as emotionally than a lot of these guys do and the organizations do. So the move was made. It drastically affected the odds. It made Houston's odds go up.
Yeah.
They
got Randall Cobb now, so now they're going to be
it,
crushing it now.
Right.
Yeah, now they're going to be they're on a roll now. Yeah, here we go. Now we're rebuilding.
Yeah, and Arizona's odds came down. That gives them hope. That gives them, Fitzgerald.
I told you about this. I said as soon as the Niners start getting good, the NFC West gets
ramping up.
I don't like this shit.
The bottom team in
the
NFC West got better.
As soon as I seen it, I said, here we go. This is it. This is like 2011 all over again. I just seen Russell Wilson get to the Seahawks. Okay, here this is not good. None of this is good. You know what I mean? So we're going to be battling with all the damn teams again. And the Cardinals played the Niners incredibly well twice, both games. I think they were up 17-3 on them the first time or the second time. I don't like it. I don't like that shit, man.
Season win-wise, and we've been asked about this. And as far as, the sports books, we're on a bit of a holding pattern over at CG. Caesars is kind of not in the same situation. They're putting up stuff. They're doing their thing. But you guys are really trying to get more stuff up at a time like this.
Yeah.
To continue to expand the betting menu.
Yep.
And give people options. And, again, I give you and the boys over there just complete credit in doing that.
Yeah, they're working hard, man. Yeah, all those guys are
just putting stuff up. And you got NFL season wins up.
Yeah.
And it's early. It's mid-March. Nobody does this.
This is right before the free agency blast, too,
right?
so it's
but the Texans is 8.5. The Colts are 8.5. And the Titans are 8.5 in that division. I just found that really odd that now it's, all juice moving, which, again, is good. But I think the Colts speculation is interesting because that can affect that number quickly.
Heavily.
If we know that Brady is the quarterback of the Colts, and again, I'm not asking you for a number, but I know if it's me, it's a half point or a half win worth minimum. I mean, if it's 8.5, it goes to 9. If Brady signs, we're going to 9.
Yeah,
Just because we're trying to get ahead of the bet.
without question.
Like get ahead of the virus and, take precautions. It's just kind of what you
Same
do in
deal.
the book.
Well-
You move the number because you got to get ahead of it. You don't, do that. Like when we found out Luck was retiring last summer, the total was 9.5. Well, without Luck, it was 7.
Yeah, 2
like
wins
that.
immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So, are there any, as far as what you see or action or anything, that you kind of either respect or things have happened in the last couple days that you've seen that you can even think about or talk about?
Man, I mean, just on the moves alone, it seems like the Dolphins are trying to make a run at,
Okay.
getting a little better here. And they, we made so much of a big deal about them, kind of being, on the back end and tanking, that they played decent down the stretch, so, I wouldn't put that into consideration so much, but the moves that they've been making have been pretty, spot on. I think they've been legit. So, I mean, I think we have them at currently. Are you looking at the current odds right now? Or
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Who are you looking for?
Dolphins.
We got them.
Yeah, we're at over 6.5.
Yeah.
Or 6.5 under 15. Which, yeah, I mean, with Brady gone now, it seems like the AFC East can breathe a little bit. And
Is this the year that someone else wins the AFC East?
I'm not gonna say it yet. Yeah, you know me, man. I don't give a damn who's playing. And there's like Cam Newton and Teddy Bridgewater are all on the market right now.
Right.
So I mean, they get one of these guys, and they won 10 games with Matt Castle like 11 years ago or something crazy. 12 years. I don't know. Is it a better chance? Yeah, but I'm not gonna just negate the Patriots without Brady.
Right.
Even though that sounds
that's
ridiculous.
what people are doing.
Right.
Like they are literally going, okay, the Patriots aren't there. So the Jets are going to win the division?
Oh, my God.
Just say it out loud.
Jeez, man.
The Bills obviously are the team.
I think the Bills are
The
getting
Bills
the
could
most
win the
love
division,
right now.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think people getting down, like the Bills are going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, your Dolphins are still your Dolphins. So,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But
I'm going to wave that flag high in like 2 years when they start playing again. Watch this.
AB had to go, but I wanted to ask him about the Bears and obviously what the hell they're doing, because they're trying to bring in a quarterback to make Trubisky compete for the spot.
Yeah.
So they're talking about Teddy Bridgewater. I guess Newton just said today.
The
that
Bears fans are
making
chomping at the
trade.
bits for
Yeah.
Teddy. I've been seeing it all. Like yesterday, they were just like,
What if
sweating
Brady
it
goes
out.
to Chicago? That's what I wanted to ask him. It's not a warm weather city, but he would go to Chicago. I would love to get his reaction, but he's not here, so hopefully he'll listen to the show. And
He would break down
shout
in
at me.
tears.
He would.
I think so. Well, no,
From
well,
sadness or from excitement?
I think both, but he's like super contrarian. So he would point out like 40 flaws of 40-year-old Brady, and I'd be like, well, he's going to be better than Trubisky. I can guarantee that. Like, I don't know what the hell you think this is. Like, yeah, that's what he would do. I know he would. He'd be like, oh, yeah, but the mechanics aren't there. And I'm like, you better chill the hell out. You know who it is, dog. My man, you're 3 wins better immediately with this guy, without question. So he would be happy at the end.
You could just tweet Berg for that at %Berg.
Okay.
And just
There you
ask
go.
him, our listeners, barrage him with Brady to the Bears.
How have we not talked about? Man, I didn't even think about that. That's actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I was saving that one. I wanted to see
Cold
what
weather,
he said. Yeah.
he knows what that's about.
Yeah,
Brady's
yeah,
played in cold weather,
yeah.
I think, a couple times.
Right.
Once. Oh, man.
Before we move on here real quick, I just wanted to mention the Digital Gaming Today subscription is only $6.95 a month or $75 for the year. You get award-winning content analysis, stats, picks, casino industry news, and more. The Dawn Best feed with real-time lines and scores from 6 Vegas sportsbooks, links to casino deals and sportsbook app signups. You even get the Gaming Today newspaper in digital form. Just go to gamingtoday.com/register. Off of that read, I wanted to mention our guy just stepped in and sat in the chair, Howard Barish, HB, the managing editor of Gaming Today. What's up, HB?
Just trying to make it hour by hour.
Right.
What'd you guys cover so far?
Well, we talked about the virus and we talked about, what's going on with that, and we'll get you to touch on that real quick. I just wanted to touch on what is the modus operandi right now for the paper, and what are you guys doing? Because the content, we don't have any games to talk about. What are we doing?
We are doing a limited run of the paper because we have advertisers this week, and we wanted them to feel like they had some love and there were eyes getting put on the printed publication. So we're doing a very limited run to the places that are open so far, like the Boyd properties and stations and the D and
Boulder
Golden
Highway
Gate.
Strip, holding it down.
Yes, and some of the other locations that have remained open. And we put out a note to them and we said, hey, we're putting out a 24-page paper. We've got content. There's no charge this week. It's on us.
Nice.
And please encourage your guests to go to gamingtoday.com to get a lot more extensive coverage. As far as the content, we're going to talk about the NFL draft being moved. We're going to talk about, the hockey season being pushed back. So there are sports items to talk about. The Kentucky Derby move and how the prep races change and how that looks for the tracks during the summer, like Saratoga and Del Mar.
We were going to ask, is this the first time it's been postponed, the Kentucky Derby?
1945, at the end of World War II.
Jesus. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Right,
yeah,
so
a
there
war.
was one other time.
So a war did that. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Not that crazy, a war.
Yeah, it was a war. It wasn't people sitting on their couches watching Netflix.
An
It was a
actual war
It
was
a war.
happening.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. A month later, there was this thing called Normandy.
Oh, yeah, Normandy.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
They made
That
movies
makes
about
sense.
that.
Yeah. But I wanted to say that I knew about social distancing way before any of this because I've been married 21 years and I've had social distancing in my bed for a long time.
There it is. Yeah. I
There
knew
you go.
it was
Okay.
going to be on purpose. It was a setup move. I know what's going on here.
My wife called me into the room. She said, I washed all the sheets. Can we make the bed? I said, why'd you wash the sheets? They weren't dirty.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Right.
something changed.
Right.
Something in the air.
So
God bless.
what?
We're doomed.
As far as horse racing, what has there been cancellations?
Everywhere. And in Pennsylvania,
Because it ran over the weekend.
a lot of tracks have casinos.
Oh,
So
okay.
many of the tracks, both thoroughbred and harness, have been mandated to close. Everyone in Pennsylvania, like Parks.
I thought they would
Meadows
never shut
Harness
down
Track,
harnesses.
Like Penn National. Yeah, they're closed.
I thought they would never shut that down.
Not all of them, but if there was a casino attached, for sure.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Gulfstream is still running with no fans.
The Stream.
Santa Anita is still running. No fans, just personnel.
Right.
So, I mean, you could bet simulcast from home or your phones way before you could sports
Right.
in racing.
Right.
So there's Twin Spires and all those other companies that have,
Available apps.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. And even across state lines.
Right. Yeah. As always has been.
Yes.
So you were able to do that. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's just funny because a lot of people got into the horse racing gig over the weekend that we saw like on social media and different things like that. And it was very interesting because, again, it's action. It's quick. It may actually
Big screens had Oaklawn on it.
everything.
It'll be really interesting to see if there's a spike in handle.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for the New Jersey numbers for online for the last week or two. It'll be really interesting to see if the casino online in New Jersey and Pennsylvania has a spike, if people actually stay home and play.
Right.
Did you see the tweet from Krakenberger yesterday? He was mocking the New Jersey governor because he was going through a list of everything that would be closed immediately. And then toward the end of the speech, he goes, the good news is you'll be able to play online.
Oh, really?
It was like
Oh, I didn't see it.
promoting
Yeah.
degeneracy.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
I thought he
No.
was ripping people for playing online. Was he? I'm not sure.
I don't
What's
think
been-
so.
Oh, okay. My bad. I don't know anything. My bad. Sorry.
And here's a good question.
Bad.
4 or 5 years ago, there was a push to get casinos online in Nevada, and it was squashed. You think they're sorry these days that they didn't?
Yeah.
Has
No. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because again, it's everything. Like we use the word unprecedented at the beginning of the show.
And hindsight's very easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And it's hard to say because the in-person experience is what makes Vegas Vegas. And being in the books, in the casinos, and doing it here, it's still the games are the same everywhere, but Vegas is somewhat different. And I think putting it online homogenizes it more, and that's what I think Vegas fought.
Also, I think they don't want locals sitting at home and doing it. They want them to actually make the effort to get in
Yeah.
a car and go to a building and do that. And I think now, especially with all of these furloughs and layoffs, socially, probably not a great idea that if someone's going to take a shot playing blackjack when they're not working, and it's very easy on the couch to do that. I don't know.
Right.
Lot
There's
to
just-
think
there's a lot
about.
of things,
There's a lot
yeah,
to unwind
yeah,
with that.
right,
That's it's tough.
Very tough.
I mean, it could
Mo's
have been
smirking
there.
because Mo would be sitting at home playing.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, it would. It's not like, I mean, obviously the hindsight's a big deal, but just to have the app, ready, like available. I mean, now they could use it.
Right.
I mean that it would like spark them never going back to a casino, but it, I mean, I think it could have been
There's
a big
that
deal.
ramification too. That's a very good point. If it's so convenient and you could play slots and not have to go into a smoky place, for instance, because you don't like smoke. No, I'm not trying to knock smokers, but and you figured out that this is a much more pleasing and private activity, it may hurt the brick and mortar in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason why a lot of times, Nevada has been kind of mocked or, been used as an example to not do with in-person registration and in-person deposits and withdrawals. But that's the reason why. They need you to come in to at least deposit the money or
That's
take it out
yeah.
to get you in the building.
Right.
If they took that away,
I still think that's
like
a great idea.
the other mobiles in New Jersey and other places, if you don't have to come in, I mean, like, you're finding ways like now, I mean, you don't have to go to the damn grocery store.
Yeah.
You can get people to get all your stuff and just get to your car and they'll bring it out and you pick it up. I mean, people are finding reasons to not go do things. And I hope at some point in society it comes back where we look to go do things with people again.
Yeah.
Because we're going away from that. So
something
the
like
mobile
this
thing.
is just, screams of less social interaction.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what's going on. I mean,
Rona
it's-
season.
Corona. All right. Well, I don't know where else to go with this thing.
I was wondering, and you may have touched upon it as well, futures, like the Masters odds are out there and it's a TBD. Are you seeing action on that? And just because there's no other action, that somebody says, hey, Bryson DeChambeau, 40-1. I've got nothing else to bet.
Right.
Yeah, no. I think we took it down.
We did as well. I think, like, in books, this is a good topic for future bets and things like that. You have to check the rules at the place you place the bets because things are somewhat different, but they're somewhat the same. We took the Masters down because I believe in our rules, the Masters has to be played within the week of its scheduled. So if they play it in September, you don't have action. We're probably going to get, I mean, we took it down. We're probably going to have to refund all those bets. NBA season wins, NHL season wins, points, all that stuff. Like at our place, I think it's 80 games have to be played in a season. If they don't play 80 games, you don't have action. It'll be a refund. If they play 80 games, you will. So the championships are like, different at every place. They have to be played within a certain amount of time from when they were scheduled. If they're not, they're refunds. The unfortunate part of all that is someone that had the Warriors season wins under. There is no chance in hell they could play 100 games. They ain't winning over 48 games, and you had under, you ain't getting paid.
That's it.
If they don't play the rest of the games, there's a lot of people that have Lakers over. You ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
They're not going to play close. Unless they play, like at our place, it's 82 games in NBA regular season. If they play 81 or 80, it's still good.
Yeah, you're good.
I don't think they're going to play that.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is the circumstance.
Yeah.
Well, some
everyone
people
has
win.
to
If you had
understand.
Warriors over and it doesn't go, then you're like, oh,
You're
yeah, we're
benefiting,
back.
right?
Yeah,
And
you're
those
crushing.
are the ones you don't hear about.
Right,
So, like,
yeah.
for as much as there are winners that
You only hear the bad beats.
Right.
We were talking about the college basketball, like all the value that some people thought they had on a certain team.
Oh.
That's they're dead. Ohio State of the world,
Right.
I mean, even Baylor, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
San Diego State,
yeah,
500
dead.
to 1.
Yeah, I mean those
100 to
like a
1,
lot of like
different
the
things like that.
Dayton's 200-1. Those are
200,
the
yeah.
killers. But
Yeah.
like. Yeah, a lot of those teams you got 100-1 at that were like 300 or 400-1 now. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, I think we're gonna
We're
be
gonna
fine.
give me
in
the money back.
Right, I need that money back bad. I need it bad. I need it
But,
bad.
Yeah, so check with your books. And did you see that prop swap incident? Like when when you buy a ticket,
They won't be able to pay you, but they have to pay you back. The suitor, right?
well, they asked them to. They're doing it. They're doing a thing. I mean, like, it's hard to say to someone who bought a ticket, that had San Diego State 200 to 1, and the original person bought it for $20 and sold it for $1,500 because, the current odds pay out whatever they are, and then it's a refund.
Yeah.
So buyer beware in that situation. I mean, it's very hard to say, like, well, now the guy's got to give the money back. I mean, you bought a stock at a certain price, and it is a certain price. And, I mean, it's very hard to say what the right thing is to do there.
And it's a third party.
And it's a third
That's
party.
That's
the
the
big
moving
deal.
part.
Yeah, that's the big deal, though, of the whole thing.
That it's a very interesting. If you haven't found that, somewhere on social media.
But they said they were going to pay it back, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
that's what they went
But they
on
also
to.
asked for good karma. They said, props off said, do the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, but
That money could be gone. Like, no one knows, man. Shit.
right.
People need that money, man.
It's in Walmart's cash register.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
They're living
right,
off
getting
that.
toilet paper. Probably. Yeah.
Well, it's there.
Let's wrap this up with all right, you touched on the gaming today and what you guys are going to do forward. How is it having the kids at home? I'm on day 2.
It's okay. They've got homework and SAT and ACT test prep. They're at that age. So there's some focus because there's the next step with college. I think for people with kids, 12, 13 and under, it's a challenge. How do you keep them busy? And as much as we mock electronic games and Xboxes and Fortnite and all that stuff, it's probably coming in handy right now.
Right. Yeah.
Keep their psyches intact.
I'm going to get to that and might take a minute. Do you guys have anything else that you want to mention on the way out? Or
I was just going to do it in my take a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything?
Thought it would make sense,
Same.
really.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, it's just a general message of, did you want to start the clock?
We're getting ready to go here, and
okay.
we're gonna. This is our take a minute segment where we give everybody 1 minute to kind of vent, talk about a take, anything they want, and we're gonna start with HB right now. In 3, 2, 1.
The obvious advice is to avoid any trouble if you can. Stay safe. All of the things you hear on the news, but just know, despite all of the different socioeconomic classes, this is affecting everybody. In one way or another, it is affecting everybody. Yes, there are people with wealth that will come out on the other side and be fine, but it still has a maddening effect on everyone that's involved in society. So best of luck, and we'll come out on the other side in a much better shape.
There you go. All right. That was HB, Howard Barish, at Gaming Today News on Twitter. Motoy, scrolling the phone, looking at numbers, looking at social media. You got anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All
I
right.
mean, it's almost a shameless plug, I
That's
guess.
fine. Go. Ready, set, go.
Yeah, a lot of these spots right now obviously are going down for good reason. It's a pretty big deal at this time, but Circus Sports is still going. So if anybody still has the urge to bet, we still have our menu, and we're still trying to get in action. So, I know it's a tough time and money's scarce, but just bet. Come over and just play. We still got a little bit of soccer. We just put out the NFL regular season wins, which is a big deal, and I think we'll have some college football stuff up too for people that are still hoping it still happens. So, yeah, come to Circus Sports.
There you go.
Win a few games and then sign up for Survivor.
That's it,
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, the contests and stuff are still going on.
and that's it. That's it.
good. Yeah, obviously, the whole thing is just there's going to be fallout and continued fallout. I mean, there may be even fallout, from the show. I mean, we took we had to adjust with schedules, and I don't know what this is going to entail.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm literally on a day-to-day right now. So I don't know, what this means for the show, but we really appreciate you guys, still continuing to listen to the show. We see the numbers. It's from all over the country. It's actually from all over the world. We have listeners in multiple countries that we just want to thank you guys again for continuing. I don't know if we're going to continue. We're going to discuss that and see where we need to go, because we talk about games. We talk about gambling. We talk about things that we do with that, and none of that is happening. So hopefully we can continue to talk about just this and, formulate a show and give you guys something to listen to, to pass a half hour of your time and just, share something with someone that, you You may not know us, but you feel like you do. We appreciate that. My take a minute is going to be quick, but it is this. Ready, set, go. I'm on day 2 of Kids at Home, and I can tell you this. Teachers should get paid fucking more money. There is no doubt what you people do that are in education is way undervalued.
Thankless.
It's unbelievable. And I have always known this and have ultimately respected teachers. And in fact, my next vocation may be that. After all this is said and done, I don't know. But what you have to do on a daily basis to contain, I mean, I have 3 kids at home, young kids as well as older kids, but to formulate lesson plans, to maintain their attention, and to help them grow to be better, educated, smarter, whatever it is, it's much appreciated by parents everywhere. And after all this is said and done, it's already appreciated after day 1. It will be super appreciated the first day these kids go back to school. So that's my take a minute. Thank you to the teachers. Thank you to the doctors, the grocery store workers, everyone involved that has had to really, goddamn, like step up.
I seen some of the grocery store workers at Walmart yesterday, and I was like, I can't even imagine what's happening in that world.
Oh,
And
That
how about the
seems like-
questions they have to field from
Oh.
everybody?
Yeah,
it's
I'm serious.
When's
like,
your next
this is
delivery?
crazy. Yeah,
When-
yeah,
you know,
like
all that stuff.
Right. It's your fault that there's no toilet paper.
It's
It's
bad.
your fault that there's
You're
no
the face
there's
out there on the
chicken.
front
It's
line.
tough.
nobody's a
And-
person. It's
yeah,
just like
and-
you're just there. You know,
and-
it's kind of crazy.
So thank you to all of you who are doing it every day. And your life has changed. I mean, it was you used to stroll down the aisle and put the shit out on the shelf and nobody even looked at you. And now they're looking at you like, where's the stuff and why isn't there more? And like fielding the questions and everything else. And they're tired. They're working 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
When they were working 6, before and getting early outs. There's no early outs anymore.
No.
So just keep that in mind. And then for all of our casino people that listen to the show, whether you're working, whether you're not, stay safe and just, there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, it may not seem like it for some people, and, we don't know. But again, thank you for tuning in, for listening, for spreading the show. I'll just sign off for the boys right now. Alan had to jump out of here, but he's at %Berg. Motoy Pearson, at He These Takes on Twitter. Reynolds producing the show. I am Reynolds 2305. Always nice when he grabs a mic and joins in the discussion. Howard steps up today and joins us in the studio, where he's at Gaming Today News on Twitter, and myself at SportsBK Consig on Twitter, and the show is at GT Cash Consider. Thank you again for listening. Follow the show, share the show, rate the show, review the show. Thanks again to the new reviews we got. Hopefully, we got you through an hour of time to just kind of relax and get away, and thank you for joining us. And we don't know when, again, we're going to do it, but, follow us on social media, and we'll get back to you hopefully sooner than later. We are out.